Today, Houston area activists will host a free screening of The Making of George. It's a short documentary about the creation of George Floyd's Houston sculpture. Joining me this morning is artist Adrian Risson-Easom and Danette Davis, both part of K. Davis Associates. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Oh.
We do appreciate your time coming on and participating in this conversation that we're having on KPRC2 Plus now. Adrian, I apologize. I did not have time to meet you before. Who's Adrian?
This is Adrian.
Adrian, I'm so
Thank you for
sorry.
having
Usually
us.
we like to take time and chat with folks before,
Right.
but it's been a jam-packed show. Adrian, how did you get involved in this sculpture?
Well, Danette K. Davis, we actually are graduates of Texas Southern, and we met as freshmen
Oh, wow.
in the 70s.
A friendship that goes way back.
Way back. And I was an art major there under Dr. John Biggers, and I moved to Austin. I am with the Travis County Historic Commission, and I am really a buff about history and how it's portrayed.
Of course, absolutely. It's important to be part of that and to have a say on how it's portrayed.
That is true.
Yeah. Why Tom Bass National Park?
Well, we decided after the tragedy happened, the idea to do the sculpture was a no-brainer for Adrian and I, because it's how we work. Art is what we.
This is not the first collaboration.
No,
I'm
it's
assuming.
not.
It's not the first.
And it won't be the last.
No, it's not the first statue done in bronze
Right. Oh,
that
wow.
we've done. But Tom Bass Park, it ended up being where George landed or what have you. There were a lot of other places that we considered, from the CUNY Homes to even Yates or to just places in Third Ward near where he grew up. But Tom Bass was where he landed. Commissioner Ellis and his group made that a place that was available to us. And well, he just said, you can choose because it needs to be here.
Yeah.
You're right. And so we picked Tom Bass. We went out, we looked, and so peaceful. It's called a conversation with George, right?
Yeah.
So we put him at a table. Adrian and I had these conversations about how do we make this conversational? How do we make this someplace everybody would feel good about, a place to reflect and that kind of thing. So it was on purpose.
And I personally love the word conversation. It resonates with people. We talk about it all the time, especially on this show, that this is a conversation. And most things, if not all things, always starts with a conversation. Why is it this is a conversation with George?
I guess we'd probably say the same thing, but the reasoning for putting him,
Not original, Zach.
well, the reasoning for putting him as a sitting statue,
Yeah.
because I had sculpted him older, and I said, well, that was the end of his life, and I said, but he had a life.
Yeah.
He was he was attending college. He was a very profound athlete, and everything went towards the end of his life. He lost a life because of things that happened to him, not at the end, in the beginning. So I portrayed him sitting at a table where people could come and they could sit with him at the table and just look at him. And, he has on a battle type jacket.
Put his hat on backwards.
His hat on backwards,
yeah.
how he would have probably been as a young man. So students could actually, or young people, sit there.
What has the response been?
Well, it's been great.
Overwhelming,
Yeah, we want more people to know that it's there. We want it to be a place when you come to Houston, you feel like you need to go by and have a conversation with George, or whatever, the man or the woman in the mirror, you know what I'm saying? Sit there and reflect. And I think that's what, if you can't see it, but maybe on the table, there's some things that his daughter, picture of him and his daughter, it's very conversational. He was a profound athlete, like she said, so there's pictures with his teammates and things like that.
And one of his teachers came forth, a second grade teacher,
that's right.
and she had a picture and a little report that he had written.
Wow.
She still had it.
Yeah.
Isn't
And we
that
put it
something?
in ceramic, sun-resistant tile on the table. And he drew a picture of a judge. He says, when I grow up, I want to be a judge. And he had a picture of a judge there.
Exactly.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting.
And she's in the interview. I mean, we made sure we captured on the documentary those kinds of things, or whatever, his daughter, the things that were important in his life that made George, so the making and the things that because Adrian, she's like into pulling things, she'd make these statues, and she's like, at night she'll call me and she'll say, he's talking to me,
Right.
or you know what I'm saying?
It's when the visions come. It's when the ideas come. Yeah. Speaking of that documentary, talk about the screening. Let's talk about the documentary now.
Okay. Well, actually, we just kind of we were smart, right? When she started, it was like I knew she was going to do it. Adrian's old school, so she literally sculpts in clay first. Right?
Oh wow!
And so we did a time-lapse camera, and we put it in her studio. And so we really caught it all on tape. She sculpted the whole thing because I wanted people to understand this is not 3D. This is not AI.
AI,
she
right?
did the thing, and so we had it all. And then once we got that, it's like, let's do that, and then let's see. As we got to talking, it's like what goes into the making of the bronze statue, and then it became about the person. And so we had to do research. She did a lot of research, and we met with some of the family members and talked about it. And then it became, what, we need to get some interviews so we can kind of really make this thing come to life. So we ended up talking to his sister and his daughter, the school
I
teacher.
brought their head to Houston, and we had a meeting around the table and talked about the George Floyd statue, how they liked it and how they liked the representation of him at his age.
You captured that response. For people interested in seeing this documentary, there's a screening today.
Yes,
There is.
absolutely.
What do they need to know about the screening?
Well, it's free. It's at Emancipation Park, and at 6:30, we'll start talking about it, and it'll start probably right at 7, and they can come out. Like I said, it's free there, so we're hoping that people will enjoy it, but it does take you through the journey. That's why it's called The Making of George in bronze, what have you, but it takes you through the journey, and then you kind of get to understand how his family felt about him. And then there's the people that helped us get this thing where it is today. So you got the commissioner and Councilwoman Shabazz and Dr. Flowers and Jeff Boney, people who the community, right, who were there going, no, we need to have it up, we need to have it up, and then we had them talk about that journey and what they were thinking and where we go from here.
It's so important to have those voices, and it truly is a beautiful thing when you are able to have those voices, voices from all over, all walks of life, be part of something this big, this movement. We want to thank you for coming in, Danette and Adrian. Thank you both for
And I want to thank you
coming
again
on the
for
show.
having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we hope this will be a part of many conversations
Oh, I'm sure it will. I have
about George and things that came out of preserving his image.
absolutely. I have a lot of confidence that it will. We want to give you another live look of the sculpture, a conversation with George. It's called. You can check it out at Tom Bass Regional Park. Yes, yay is correct.